Hello, it's Blue Orange 22. I am back. I've been very busy the last 2 weeks. I want to get back to making videos. I said before how I'm going to be kind of working on getting my whole studio set up with the camera and the lighting and the sounds. And I've decided that I'm going to be getting a real camera sometime in the next month. I think it's worth it, the $1,000 or whatever it is, to have a real recording camera, and that is something that I plan on having. Today I kind of want to make a video about the two mass shootings in the United States, the one in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. And I want to talk about an article that I saw from The Guardian, which I put in the description down below. And it's about how, with these shootings, people are starting to talk about how, it's always young men, and it's these young, isolated men that seem to be doing all of these shootings. And this Guardian article is saying, we should have reached out to those shooters. And, these young men are becoming angry and isolated, and it's causing a lot of these problems. And this is a conversation that seems to kind of go different ways. Some people say it's angry young white men who are turned to the alt-right, and they get isolated on the internet, and they learn these extreme views. I put some of those articles in the description below too. And they're learning these hateful views from these online communities like 4chan or 8chan, things like that. The incel community often is talked about a lot. Elliot Rogers was an incel shooter. The Toronto van attack was an incel. And that's another thing they talk about. Oh, it's an incel problem. And it's this toxic male community, the incel community. And then sometimes I see that the men's rights movement gets brought into the conversation. And that's kind of one of the things I want to talk about in this video. The men's rights movement sometimes gets lumped in with things like the alt-rights or the incel movement, but I think I've done a video on this before. The truth is, this is a completely false connection, and the men's rights movement is not part of the incel movement. It's not part of the alt-right. It's not a hate movement. It doesn't teach hate. It doesn't teach misogyny. It doesn't teach sexism. It's not really about any of that. But it gets a very unfair rap sometimes in the press, and people get some wrong ideas about what the men's rights movement really is. And that's one of the reasons why I want to make this channel, is to just kind of show people the face of like, who is an MRA? What do we actually think? Who are we? Like, for real. Kind of give people, an idea, kind of personalize it a little bit. The second thing I want to say specifically about this Guardian article, about we should have reached out to the shooters, and they were isolated and they were angry, and that's why they did this. But you know what? I'm not totally sure I agree with that, because at the end of the day, it's their fault for what they did. And there's no excuse for murdering completely innocent people, ever. I mean, it's something that you absolutely never ever have a reason or an excuse or a need to do, to go out and kill completely innocent strangers for absolutely no reason. Okay, anger is not an excuse. If somebody murders someone in your family and then you go and then you murder them, I'm not saying you should do that, but at least I could understand, okay, the anger has a point. Like, I would understand that. If someone kills your wife, you kill them. Okay, I can sort of see the logic there. But what they did is something that there's no excuse for it, and nothing to me is like a fair excuse. Oh, we should have reached out to them. They didn't have enough friends. They didn't have a connection to the community. They were isolated. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you absolutely have to do something, I mean, not that you should kill yourself, but it's better to just commit suicide than to commit suicide and murder 20 innocent people. But there's never an excuse to do something like a mass shooting under any circumstances, at all. Um, so that's just kind of something that I don't like, this thing of, oh, young men might become mass shooters, so we have to reach out to them and talk to them. No. Okay, that's not a young male problem at all. It's not something that any young male ever has any excuse to do under any circumstances. Yes, there are reasons why young men are becoming angry with different political situations, and that's why there's a men's rights movement. That's what this channel is about. I'm talking about things that I don't like, things that sometimes make me a little angry to read about, certain laws or certain social trends, and that's fine. That's a normal part of life. But I don't like how it's spun to kind of like defend almost, or make it seem like it's not the shooter's fault, because it is their fault 100%. So anyway, I just kind of want to get that out there. So thanks for staying tuned. I'm going to pick up this channel again. Really, for now, I'm going to make these short little videos for the next little bit, but what I'm really waiting for is getting that camera. And then once I get that camera, I'm going to start making some proper productions and some full-length videos. So read the links below, and tell me what you think.